They say they claim to have 9 picks, which they do.
They do.
But 4 of them, almost half of them, are in a absolutely useless round called the 5th. Okay, not interested. Not interested in.
Don't tell Richard Sherman that now.
All right, you want to point to the one guy? I'll just point to the other 31 in that draft in the 5th round that stunk.
Just using an example.
Okay, I'll use the example of I've got like basically a 28 out of 31 chance of missing on that pick, right? Then the higher round where you've got a better chance. So just you look at those. So now they've got 5 picks in the other 6 rounds, which is good. That's great. You have basically a pick around. That's fine. But to me, look at it. They need a wide receiver. They need a guard. They need a tackle. They need an edge. They probably need a safety. Probably need a corner. There's a lot of needs here.
Need a lot.
They need a lot. If you need a lot, there's a lot of holes to fill. And, I don't think that it's crazy to think that if, you wanted to fill as many holes as possible, do you consider trading either out of the first round or back further in the first round, which I do think there's an advantage, obviously, to being in the first round where you can still take up that 5th round option. I'm sorry, the fifth year option on a player where you can still pick that up. But if you were to move back from 24 to say 29 or 30, like they did with Travis Frederick, remember they moved that, they moved with him. They were still able to take him late in the first round, or move all the way back to the second and get another second rounder out of it. Maybe like let's say you go from take Chicago. Let's say you trade with Chicago. Chicago could give you 39 and 71. So the 7th pick of the second round, and then like the 3rd or 4th pick of the 4th. The 3rd, right? So could you pick that up?
So it'd be the 6th pick in the 3rd round this year for the Chicago because they're at 71.
71, yeah. So whatever. So now you're picking up multiple top 100 picks. So now you would have like 4 or 5 top 100 picks instead of just 3. It's a way to look at it. Because you do need multiple positions. If this is a deep, deep, deep wide receiver group, maybe at 39 you can get Pickens out of Georgia. Maybe you can get a guard. Maybe you get a tackle, wherever you want to get it from. You have multiple options to get. To me, those 5th rounders, those are darts that are, you are sitting there flailing in the wind and hoping to pick up Richard Sherman.
Well, here's the thing, and Stephen Jones has talked about this. This organization is clearly, looking toward this draft as a big-time depth draft with the amount of draftable, quote-unquote, draftable players available. And, saying that there are over 200 draftable players in this year's draft, given how we've seen things happen from circumstances with, COVID-19, players still, retaining or staying in school, those kinds of things. So they'll have more darts to throw at the board and to be able to try and hit on those picks with the 9 picks that they have and the multiple 5th rounders that they have. It just is a hard time for me to get charged up about the idea that this team will look at itself and say, hey, we're going to make sure that we hit on all of these picks, because that's the kind of pressure that this personnel department is putting on themselves to have another sensational draft to try and help supplement this team to move forward based on what they've lost so far this offseason. You can't do all of this in the draft. You can find some really good players. You can be able to find some value as you go later into the draft, but to put all of your eggs in one basket, given how this team has not utilized free agency really at all this offseason.
Which they never do.
And that's why I'm saying it's very tough to continue to hopefully depend on them to hit on the draft, no matter how many draft picks that they have. That's a lot of pressure year over year. And I think there's more pressure on them in recent memory with this year's draft versus others, given what they're trying to do to replenish their football team.
I would rather just have more darts in the top 100 than I would in the in numbers 150 to 250. I'd rather have, if I'm going to be able to, I would honestly, I would take my 4 5th-round picks, try to trade up into the 4th.
Yeah, you're trying to move up. You parlay some of those picks. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I don't need all 4 in the 5th round. I'd rather move up into the 4th. Take a couple of those, move up. The higher you can get, the better. And yes, a lot of the first-round picks end up stinking as well. There's no doubt they do. But your hit rate is much, much higher. Much, much higher in the early rounds. And yeah, it is true that the first round picks, the only reason, part of the reason is they just get more opportunity. They absolutely do. They draft very, very well. This team drafts very well. They seem to hit on high picks. You could point to, Anthony Brown as a 6 getting a second contract, or Dorrance Armstrong getting a second contract.
I mean, hell, Dak Prescott in the 4th round.
Right, yeah. I mean, you could point to a lot of them. There's far more you could point to that didn't than that did. I would just rather have, if I could get 4 to 5 picks in the top 100 or 4, that is, to me, exactly the route that I would want to take. Especially if you're at 24. And you have to make the decision now.
Yeah.
But you get to 24 and you're like, I don't really I mean, can I get this guy at 39? Maybe not. Can I get somebody similar? All right, let's pick up another 2.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it and pick up another 2. Let's pick up another 4, whatever it may be. You got to think about something like that.